Well, I was playing in Printer's Alley in Nashville with Red at Skull's Rainbow Room. We played there about 2-3 years, and then Red got the job with Merle Haggard. And Johnny Barber, the drummer, got the job with Loretta Lynn. So I stayed at Skull's for probably another 6 months, I think. I hired a guitar player that had played with him. And he had heard that he needed a bass player to go out with him for 5 or 6 months. We need to go in 2 days. So I gathered up all my stuff. I didn't have any animals at the time to leave, I went out to a parking lot somewhere in Nashville where his bus was. I got up on the bus with the guys, said hi to everybody, and put my guitars, amps under the bus and all that. And Paycheck wasn't on the bus, I thought. I sat down with all the guys and chose my bunk, and we're sitting there and we're just driving to Ohio. And the bus driver's, driving, and I'm getting to know everybody, And I thought we were going to go get Paycheck somewhere and meet him. I spent the night on the bus and slept in the bunk. In the morning, I woke up, and you know how the table is in the bus? I was sitting in this seat right here, and I was messing with my camera down here. I was trying to put film in it and everything, just in case I'd meet him. And everybody's asleep. The bus driver is sleeping, and he's got this hat on that's got 2 big boobs on it. And all of a sudden, that door opened, and Paycheck comes walking out. Hello, sir. How you doing? And he grabs that hat off of the bus driver, puts it on, and right there's the picture of it that I snapped of him. Right there. So that's how I met Johnny Paycheck. 92, 93, something like that. He had a big belly, and he always stayed in the back room because he watched Andy Griffith reruns all the time. And he had a big bag of donuts and Twinkies and everything. And the only time I was ever able to kind of talk to him a little bit was when we all stopped at Cracker Barrel because, all the stars get fed free. Not us, but he does, He kind of asked me where I was from, and I said St. Louis, He was kind of quiet most of the time, but he ate a big breakfast. And we got back on the bus and he went back in his room and we went on to Ohio. And I didn't see him again till we unloaded the bus, got on the stage and, had everything set for him. And then he would come out. When we played the first time, I think it was in Nashville at the Chaparral. Remember that?
Yes.
He always kept a, one of them, whatever you call it, for asthma. And he always kept it on his amp. And after every song, he would turn around and use that. So you could tell he's kind of getting up there. But my time out with him and the guys were great.
Did he still have all of his voice?
Yeah, pretty much. I got to sing harmony with him on a few things. First time I sang harmony with him, he went like that. I thought, oh shit, he doesn't want me to sing. And then next time the line came up, I didn't sing. And he looked over, sing. Okay, kind of like that. I screwed up a couple of songs that I hadn't heard in a long time. But I looked over at him like if I hit the wrong note or something, If I hit a wrong note, it's usually not noticeable, except for musicians. They notice that stuff. He didn't look over at me like I made a mistake, So that's good. And the next gigs You know, I don't remember a lot of them, but
What kind of cramming did you have to do to learn all these songs?
I had a week.
How did they prepare you? They send you tapes or how?
No, they sent me a set list, and then I had the records of most of them. So I just listened to the records for a week. That's how I learned songs. Get it, keep going.
Did you make
All day
songs?
long, I kept playing that album all day long, every day.
Were the live versions different from anything on the record, or just or
No, not really. Just maybe the endings sometimes. They didn't end it like the record. They had their own way of doing it, you know. But they told me that before I started playing.
Who was in the band at this time?
I don't remember. I really don't. I don't remember the guys' names. I swear I can't remember them. It's been a long time. I think the bus driver's name was Al, and I remember the guitar player was Jody. The drummer's name, I think, was Brian. But that's kind of all I remember, you know. Little Darling, that old Little Darlings, I love that. I think Paycheck was one of the best singers ever. Yeah, I have pictures in my phone of Paycheck playing bass for Ray Price. Things like that, you know. I heard him talking to the drummer one time in the green room about, you know, when he got in trouble. But I was only there for like 5 minutes. I had to go out and get ready on the stage. But he was talking to him.
Was he a tough boss?
No, he was real nice to me. He never scolded anybody or anything, or, you know, when everybody got on the bus, he would just say, "All right, Al, let's go." That was it. Then he went back in his room, watched Andy Griffith. Well, we opened up for George Jones, and he didn't show up. So the people were kind of pissed off. So we had to go out and play some more. And George never showed up. The guy came up and said, "Y'all can get your money back if you want," you know, and people are starting to, well, they weren't leaving, but, you know, you could tell, oh, you know, they were kind of bummed out. I remember that.
Do you remember where that was?
Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah, that's where it was.
George only had to make it up to Bowling.
That's right. I never knew what happened.
How long did you play with Paycheck?
Probably about 5 months.
About 5 months.
Yeah.
How did you hear about his passing?
I heard about it. I was in Atlanta. Because after that, I went to Atlanta and started George Jones. Not the real George Jones, but this guy was the club owner in Atlanta. And he told me that he wanted me to put a 7-piece swing band in his club down in Atlanta, way down by the airport. So I got half of Hank Jr.'s band, Animal and them guys, and a few guys that were already playing there. And I went down there and moved there. Well, I heard it on the radio, you know, on KILT, I think. No, it was a station in Atlanta. I don't remember. I just turned on the radio. Johnny Paycheck has passed away. So I was pretty bummed about that. At least I got to play with them, you know.